them who we are.
Alright, so heading to Wakanda Forever, I didn't know what to expect with this movie. We have the MCU that's been lackluster lately with She-Hulk, with the other things going on. WandaVision and Loki were pretty good, but other than that, the movies weren't really as impactful as before Endgame. And also the death of Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace to him, and thank you for his endeavors and his contribution to this character and how impactful he was to not only the MCU fans and the superhero community, but the black community as a whole. He gave the black community everything that they needed: a hero, a light in such, darkness. And he was just, and as a person, he was like, I don't know him that well, but from the interviews and things that I hear from people, he's been a pretty cool person, and it's just sad to see that he is deceased. And now this movie is a tribute to Chadwick. So after everything that's going around with that, and the fact that some behind the scenes stuff happened, which we don't really need to get into, I was wondering, like, how is this film going to be? Because I seen the trailers, and the trailers look fire. Y'all seen how my reactions were. But at the same time, I don't know. Because as we've seen, some of these Marvel movie trailers be tricking us. Like, we had Thor, Love and Thunder. It wasn't that well received. We have Eternals, which was, it tried its best to be different, but it ended up being a disappointment. Then we had Spider-Man No Way Home. As fun and as much as everyone enjoyed it, I would not lie and say that the nostalgia definitely carried and picked up that movie with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Not saying Tom Holland was a problem or anything like that, but that's just the truth, that the nostalgia carried that movie. So now we're here with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So how do I feel about this film? Is it very impactful, and what do I think about it? So before I get into that, let's make sure we know about the plot before we get into Wakanda Forever. Queen Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett, Shuri, played by Leetta Wright, M'Baku, played by Winston Duke, Okoye, and Dora Magi fight to protect their nation from interfering world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their new chapter, the heroes must band together with Nakia and Everett Ross to forge a new path for their beloved kingdom. Now, let me just say that this film is pretty good. I'm not even going to front. I'm just going to leave that out the way. But before I get into more detail, let me just say there's not going to be any bias. I'm going to be very objective with this, because there's going to be so many emotions. People going to feel differently, with not recasting T'Challa and the things going on behind the scenes. I'm going to give the most objective opinion as I can with this movie. So, anyways, let's get into it. So, let me just get into the good part, because I want to get into that straight up. So, the good parts is all the characters in this film, for the most part, were pretty good. I love Shuri in this movie. Yes, I do. She's going through grief, as you see, with her brother dying, and she has to get through the process of that happening, and she has different ways of grieving, because she has built up anger. She has all these responsibilities, and she feels tormented by not saving her brother. And the way I say it, I'm not even going to get into spoilers. So this is spoiler free. I'm not going to say nothing else about that. So I love that Shuri is going through the process of that. I'll get into some bad with the way the grieving is, but Shuri was strong. She was independent. She showed some leadership here. She showed some growth from the first film, because in the first film she was, childish, being a kid. But now with the death of her brother, she has to grow up. She has to become Shuri that protects Wakanda. because her brother died. Also, we have Ok- I can never say her name right. It's like Okaye. I'm just gonna say Okaye. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. Okaye is cool, just like in the first film. She a little bit more comedic here. She gets into some jokes with Shuri here, but I didn't mind it. It was pretty funny. I love her fight sequences. I love that she's still a warrior at heart, even though she had some development with the first film, where her husband being a traitor and everything. But she's still that badass woman that we seen from the first film. So I definitely love that. I love. Well, I'm not gonna say I love. I like Riri Williams here, and I love how she's introduced, and the potential of her having her own film as Ironheart is very interesting. At first, I wasn't like that interested or that invested in what she's doing because, I know much about Riri Williams, but at the same time, she's more of a legacy character, and I didn't know like how she's connected to Robert Downey Jr. because just like Tony Stark, she's more of an intellect. She makes machines. She is a full-on scientist, but she does have some potential with what I've seen from the film. So we gonna see, but I do have we gonna get to the negative stuff in a minute, but I like what I see. I don't hate it. I don't hate Dominique Thorne playing this character. She looks like she fits, and when she gets her own series, I can't wait to see what she do. Now, before I get into anything else, let me make sure that's everything, right? That's everything. Let me see. Okay. All right, let's get it. Tenor. I hope I pronounce his name right. Tenoch Huerta. If I mispronounce your name, I'm so sorry. Namor is a fucking beast. He is a beast. I love Namor in this movie. I love the way they introduced his character. I love the way that they show a little bit of his origin story. I love the way they use his powers. The way that his people use their powers. It's so unique. I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a copy of Jason Momoa's Aquaman, from the DC films. But here, it was just completely different. They call themselves the Takayan, I think. I hope I'm keeping it. Takayan. We just gonna say that until somebody correct me. They're blue, and so it's basically like a mix between the little aliens or the big aliens from Avatar and the Atlanteans from Aquaman. And I just love the way they use their powers, man. I love their culture. I love, that's good. Anyways, Namor is going to be everyone's favorite, well, mostly everyone's favorite character because of the way they introduce him, the way they use their powers. Even with his little wings that he had from his ankles that look silly as hell, they make it work. And man, I can't wait to see what he do in the future because once he's with the other characters, it's going to be very impactful. And I feel like out of all the characters they introduced in Phase 4, this character is going to be the most impactful. And he's going to be, I'll say in my opinion, a scene stealer in Wakanda Forever. Because he delivered here and he really impressed me in this movie. And I hope he gets his own spinoff because it will be very good. That's all I got to say about that. Now, the culture with Namor's people, the Takayan, I love the way, like I said before, I love the way they use their powers, their culture, the way they all about themselves and all about protecting themselves, their culture, and making sure no one else destroys that. And the fact that they introduced all that in like 10 minutes, it was very impressive to me because now I'm very interested in Namor. And that's the key word, interested. No, not more than interested. I'm very excited for what they're doing here. And I'm like, Aquaman, Jason Momoa, man, I don't know. Namor doing his thing. So, I love that. What else? Oh, yeah. Like I said, when it comes to Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa, they do give a well-received a well received tribute to him. I don't want to spoil it, but it's the way, I'll just say it's scattered throughout the whole movie, and even though it's not like in your face, you still feel his presence because of the way the characters grief and the way they feel about the passing of T'Challa. So you feel that. I love the action sequences that are here, especially with Akaye and I'm trying to say his name. I'll just say one of the Sakins in the bridge. That was a really crazy sequence right there. And then you feel the impact from the hits, from the way they use their weapons. It was just very exciting to see all that. And you really haven't seen that impact of action since Endgame, to be honest. I mean, you do see, I ain't gonna lie, No Way Home. I'll just say that, No Way Home. Shh, is there anything else? Oh, the music is fire here. We not gonna get Kendrick Lamar, but you do feel, it's weird because Kendrick Lamar is not producing this, but you feel his presence here too in a weird way, because this year we had how can I forget his new album that just came out this year, and in a weird way it could, with some of the songs in his recent album connects to this movie right here with the way they represent grief. So you feel his presence in a weird way. But when it comes to the music is fire. The score and the soundtrack. The score from Ludwig, perfect. Probably even better than the first Black Panther in my opinion. Because they do a little bit more with what they did previously. And I like what he did with the score. Because it felt more epic, more grandeur. The music here. Burna Boy, Rihanna, Tim's, everyone that's done the E40, everyone that's done the soundtrack to Black Panther did their thing. And I'm not gonna say it's better than the first Black Panther because the first Black Panther had hits with Kendrick Lamar, SZA, Kendrick Lamar, Future, Kendrick Lamar. Like it was just like you can't beat those hits. Those are like memorable hits. But I will say for this film, when it comes to the soundtrack, everything is more consistent with the quality of the music that we get here from Burna Boy alone, which I really love. Lift Me Up from Rihanna, which is pretty good. Tim's No Woman No Cry. They did a really good job with the soundtrack, and I'm loving it. Those, for the most part, are my positives. Now let's get to the negative. Now I'm gonna get to the nitpicks first. So I'll just say the way they did Shuri, even though I do love the way they did her character, I feel like they should have done a subtle transition with the way they do her character at the end. And if you read the comics, you'll know what I'm talking about. If they would have put in subtle things throughout the film that makes you believe that she becomes this, then you'd be like, oh, okay. All right, I can see that because throughout the film, I consistently see her do this and that. So that was one thing. Another thing is the way that she grieves. Now, well, through how all the other characters. Oh my God, how can I forget? Hold up with the bad stuff. Let me just say one positive. Queen Ramonda, Angela Bassett, is the best thing in this film. She is a powerhouse with her acting. You feel her presence here. You like, I know everybody don't like. It's probably a bad comparison, but to me, it felt close to that. Remember when in Batman vs Superman goes in the courtroom, and you can feel his presence. He's like so strong, so powerful, and everyone just sees her. Yeah, and everyone just sees her. Bro, man, when Angela Bassett comes in the courtroom, you can feel it. You can feel her anger. You can feel her royalty. You feel everything in her first, well, I'll say her second scene. And it's just amazing. And the way that she reacts because of her son's death, perfect. Absolute goddess right there. This this is the most like I've seen her like act strongly since she was Tina Turner. That's how good she was in here. I don't know if she's gonna get an Oscar because there's so many other uh, actresses that really do a really good job. But when it comes to comic book movies, I feel like she did the best out of all the comic book movies that's been out this year when it comes to performance. So, and the performances from all the actors and actresses here are very good compared to the other movies that we've seen previously with Spider-Man: No Way Home, Eternals, Black Widow, all that. So I just want to get to that real quick because I just remembered it. The way they grieve in this movie is just so inconsistent a little bit because they talk about T'Challa, but when it comes to the actions, I don't see the frustrations because they're so focused on the comedic stuff. And not saying that it's a bother or anything like that, but it's just, I mean, your brother just died. Also, y'all just came back after 5 years of being gone from the snap. So you would think, man, I'm still this person, but it just, but I'm going to feel some type of way about it. But it's just normal comedic Marvel shit, which it is what it is because that's their brand. Riri Williams, even though she's really good here, I feel like she didn't need to be in this film. I don't think this is spoilers. I hate not spoiling. I'll just say that she is in some way a MacGuffin, and they could have used someone else. And if they were using her, they should have done a show before this film, so that she didn't have to take screen time from other characters. And when I say that transitions to my next point. We have M'Baku here from Winston Duke. He's still funny. He's still charismatic. He's still that guy, that big goof that you've seen from the first film. But I feel like they reserved him a little bit here. And that's a shame because you don't really get that many black males presence here. And not saying it's bad or good, I mean good or bad or anything like that, but it's just I feel like they should have done M'Baku, they should have upped him more with Chadwick being gone. You know what I'm saying? And make him more of an importance here. And that's all I'll say about that without spoiling anything. Because it's already difficult enough because I want to say so much more. But I can't talk about that. So I feel they should have done more with M'Baku. The CGI, just like for the first Black Panther, they have some good CGI and then some bad ones. Same thing here. It's just I wish they did some stuff practical and some stuff a little bit more detailed. Also, we didn't get enough of Wakanda. I feel like the first film we had more of Wakanda, more of the culture and everything. But here it's called Wakanda Forever, and you don't get that much Wakanda. If it even feel less detailed than the first film. We had more of the Takians world, Namor's world, which makes sense because we're introducing this character as the antagonist of the film to Wakanda, which is a shame. Lupita Nyong'o's character, she was a little selfish here. I'm not gonna lie. It makes sense why she did it, but at the same time, it was like, man, did y'all have to make her this way? She's still the loving one that we seen from the first one, but it's just, did y'all had to do this with her character? Y'all couldn't have done anything else. Whew. But other than that, this movie was very good. It was probably the best film in Phase 5. Well, this should be the introduction to Phase 5, but this is the best Phase 4 film that we had, period. And you can't really debate that because of what we have right now. It does a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Lots of great performances that we've seen since Endgame. Angela Bassett was a standout. Namor, played by Tenoch Huerta, was a standout. I love how they introduced Ironheart, even though she should have had her own series before this. But the actress is very good, Dominique Thorne, and like her charisma, the way that she carried herself, and I'm pretty sure people are gonna love her. Not everyone's gonna love it. I'll just say that because y'all know how everything goes, but people are going to have some attraction to the Ironheart Riri Williams character. Shuri, I'll just say she's going to carry. She going to carry this franchise, I believe, because she did her thing here. Even though there's some things that she should have done that makes sense for her to transition to this. It makes sense to me, so I'm pretty cool with that. And hopefully, we get more of Wakanda. We probably gonna get a series from Ryan Coogler. And yeah, the soundtrack was amazing. The score was amazing. The action sequences was very good. The world of Namor himself, was fantastic. I really love this film. No, I'll say it's pretty good. To give a fair, objective opinion, I would say that this film is an 8 out of 10. I really like what I'm seeing here. There's a few things that they could tweak to make the film tighter, just like every other movie that we've seen ever. But I feel like with what they had and what they can do, Ryan Coogler did a good job for this film. And hopefully, if he feels like doing it, he can do Secret Wars. Hope that happens. So that's it for my review for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Make sure to like this video, comment down below your thoughts on this film. Also, if you've seen the film, let me know and tell me how you feel about the movie. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to see my new content. Alright, y'all. Peace.